Good evening and welcome to this meeting of the Kennebunkport Town Select Board. Tonight is October 23rd. I'm calling this meeting to order at 6 p.m. All those that are able, would you please rise and join me to the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our first order of business is to approve the October 9th, 2025 Selectmen minutes.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first and second. Any discussion? Then all in favor? Thank you. The next order is the public forum. This is an opportunity for anyone who wants to address the board with any issue that is not on the agenda. Is there anyone out there? Pam?
I'm here today just to ask a question about some information that I received in the
I'm
mail.
sorry, Pam, could you introduce yourself?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, my name is Pam Morgan, and I live over on High Tide Road. And I'm here to ask a question about some information that I've been receiving in the mail about the new town hall, because I'm trying to make a decision about how to vote next week, right? It's next week already. So some of the information that I've gotten in the mail seems to be conflicting, and I'm just trying to understand. I also read what was in the town newsletter, which I find really helpful. So one of the things that I received in the mail, though, didn't have any kind of a signature, and I don't know who sent it. And so I'm just wondering, and maybe this isn't the right place to ask this question, but if any of you can address the concerns raised in this letter, which I think probably went out to all residents, but about the new town hall and concerns about the fire department, because that is something that I'd like to understand better. It's a little confusing to me. It says residents and members of the Kennebunkport Fire Department are concerned about this, that, and the other thing. There's quite a few things. I don't know if it's helpful for me to read any of them from this, but if you're familiar with this, I'm assuming you all got this in the mail?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, the town has received quite a few inquiries, just curious about what it is. In fact, one of them came from Beverly Soul from 16 Spring Street. She had some questions that she asked we might present to the fire chief, and I think they could be useful in your understanding from that letter as well.
Okay.
So would you be willing, can I just ask if the fire chief would come up and then
Yeah,
we
of
can
course.
ask some questions?
Sure.
Thank you. Hi, Chief. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I know that you were directly involved in many of the town hall meetings and meetings where the proposed site here at 32 North was discussed. And I wonder, before I present these questions, if you could first just give us an overall feelings of your participation and how it went?
Yeah, so I wasn't involved in the figuring out the programming space that the town hall staff needed, but I started to get into the meetings, coming to the meetings when it was about moving it here or having it somewhere else, but mostly being here. Nothing during the meetings ever made me pause to say it shouldn't be here. I don't think there's anything really there's nothing really that's going to affect how we do things. The way the building is laid out, there's not going to be a lot more traffic, pedestrian traffic, sorry. I just don't think, I certainly would have spoken up if I thought there had been a reason why we shouldn't do it here.
Appreciate that. So why don't I just share these questions with you, if you would. Beverly asks, in your role as fire chief, are there any serious negative complications to the operation of the fire department with the proposed town hall at 32 North Street?
I don't believe there are any, no.
Then will foot and vehicle traffic at the new town hall interfere with the operation of the fire station?
No, I don't believe it will at all.
Will the fire department lose operational space to test hoses, move or turn fire trucks, and stage equipment during emergencies?
No, we have the ramp to stage our equipment just like we would today out front. We might have to adjust how we hose test, and maybe we'll start up over here instead of behind the building over here, and we used to go down toward the parking lot. The things that have been brought up to me are just maybe some little minor changes in how we have to do things. It's not that big a deal.
And then there was a fourth question: will parking spaces used by responding call force members be lost when berm and lawn are converted to employee parking?
No, if I read the plans right, we're actually gonna gain 2 spots of the diagonal ones behind the building. And even if everybody that works in the town hall is in the employee parking lot, there's still gonna be 4 or 5 spaces left in there, is what I counted.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think that'll be an issue. And, after hours, when the town hall's closed, if we were gonna have a meeting here or use the big room in the town hall is, I would assume, maybe I know it's a bad word, but that it would be okay to use that parking lot for the firefighters to park in to come to a training or a meeting or something like that. Yep.
All right, I appreciate that, thank you. That's,
Okay. One of the things I did want to mention, that in talking about the building, was one of the things that was discussed, and was discussed with me because it was gonna possibly be here, was looking into sharing spaces. So the fire department doesn't need a meeting room this big and a training. We could do something different. But at the town halls next door, we've got the large room that's planned for there that we could use. And there's a smaller meeting room for us to use here. That also could be certainly shared by the town, just like we've been doing in this room, well, for all the 7 years I've been the fire chief.
appreciate it, thank you.
All right?
I would just like to add, John, this came up when the library, there was a meeting at the library about the town hall, and this question did come up from a couple people there. And I did share that I thought that, to your point, with regards to the hoses and parking, that I think that the board would certainly work with the fire department or the fire company here at the firehouse if we needed to reserve parking spots, or we needed to, for hose work,
Yeah.
have one day that the employees just couldn't park in the parking lot because you needed the space. I don't think anyone on this board or that the town would oppose that, and would actually accommodate whatever the fire department needed.
Yep. And again, it's a pretty subtle change in what we might need to do to have it here still. It's not that big a deal.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Okay.
Hey, can I ask a question? Have any members of the fire department raised issues about the location with you?
Yeah, I mean, some of the members have asked questions of why I don't think it's a problem. And I don't think it's a problem. I don't live in this town. I don't want to sound, like I do, but I look at some of the things that are going on, and would say the school department's budget, and I see that the town has been working to make this a better town hall. They listened in 2003. I don't think the school board listened last year, and that's why they're having trouble passing their budget this year. That's, again, my personal opinion. And I think that, the town should be commended for looking forward and doing the things they've done to make this smaller. And unfortunately, we've seen over and over again, you keep kicking the can down the road, and it's just gonna be more and more.
Thanks a lot.
Yep.
Are there any other comments? Yes?
Did you want to ask
Sorry.
Pam if that answered?
Oh, I'm sorry, Pam, thank you.
Well, it was sort of circumvented Pam
No,
on that.
Yeah,
I'm
thank
sorry,
you.
Pam, thank
Yeah, that was my main question. I just was concerned about, and I just wanted to be clear about what the impacts on the fire department were going to be. So thank you, that helped.
Thank you, Pam. Melinda?
Lori.
Laura? Oh, Lawrence. Hi.
Hi, my name is Laurie, and I'm a Kennebunkport resident.
Your
And
last name, please?
I do, it's Willette. And at the public hearing on October 9th, I tried to participate, but I was only able to dial in. And when you dial in, you can only listen. So I wasn't able to give any feedback. So I wanted to say, I'll be brief, but I wanted to say a couple of things tonight. So it was stated at the meeting that the public hearing was only advertised in the newspaper. And in the weeks and days leading up to that meeting, there were several other notifications that were sent out in email alerts. And one of them was for the public comment on the resiliency work over on Ocean Avenue for Wandy Beach. And so I wonder why, I'd like to know why there was no email alert for the public hearing on October 9th.
Yeah, I think in the past, the staff have been focused on meeting the statutory requirements for a public hearing, which is printed in the newspaper. And I think that they overlooked when it is a printed public hearing, that it would be good to send it out as well. And the board discussed that at the last meeting, and we've directed staff to make sure that both occurs.
So going forward, when there is a public hearing, we're guaranteed to get an email alert as well?
That's what we've asked staff, to make sure they're hitting not just the statutory requirement, but also a communication plan.
All right, because it felt like a big omission with the other
Yeah,
public
I understand,
notice.
yeah.
Okay, all right. And then the town hall committee presentation. I give the town hall committee a lot of credit for all the work they did to put the plan together and pull it all together and present it the way that they did. And I give them a lot of credit for using the email alerts, because they did that right along the way. But I still disagree with implementing that plan. The three big reasons that in the town survey that people voted no were that it was too expensive, that it was too big, and that it wasn't needed. That was right in the town survey, right? Reasons for voting no. So it's still comparably expensive. There's not much change in the price there. And I haven't looked at the entire estimate, but I did flip through, and one thing that really caught my eye that I don't understand is a shower in the town hall, and a $10,000 shower at that. That makes no sense to me. So I feel I need to look through it more, and I question some of the other things there now, just based on that one item that stood out to me as something that didn't make sense at all. So the size, I think, is still bigger than what we need. That's, I know, very arguable. But I went to the tour of the town hall back last time around, and I see that there's more potential there, I think, than has been addressed. So the committee, the town hall committee stated that they didn't they didn't have a detailed look at a renovation plan because it was deemed to be a remove and replace project. And so I wonder if there really was a look at what could be done in renovating at the existing footprint of the town hall on Elm Street and the original fire station that's next to it. In the one of the things that struck me on the tour, definitely the town hall needs a better situation. There's no question about that. But there seems to be a lot of space there to maybe start a renovation in that original fire station space. there's a whole mountain of soap and paper towels and toilet paper for the port that's being stored there that could probably go someplace else. And I think there maybe were a couple of vehicles in there. It was a while ago. But anyway, it seems like there's space there to start with something. And I'd like to know if that was actually looked at, just that existing footprint. I'm not talking about like going up even, just like what's there and what can be done in that space. I think that we have a lot of other spaces in town that we can use, like we're voting at the consolidated, we're not voting there, but we have the town meeting, well, we are, at the consolidated school, but maybe we could vote there, on the November elections as well. And when this space becomes the bunkhouse for the fire station, there are other places I think that we could even have this meeting and other meetings. Like we had the government school meetings, we call it, over at the police station, for example. And maybe that's not the best place, but there are other places around, I think, that we could do some of those things. What else did I want to say? I did, I'm glad to hear some of the feedback from the fire chief about those concerns, because when Fireman Good spoke, that really touched me, thinking about some of those concerns. What I was left with was the thought that, he's been on the force for 40 years, and he started at Elm Street, and it sounded, it seems that part of the reason the fire station moved away from Elm Street and the town hall was because of all the hubbub there. And so if we're building this big town hall and we're inviting in all these other activities because now we have this new space, there's going to be more hubbub here as well. So something to think about. And then in the end, if a new town hall is voted down again, I hope at least there would be some plan for some renovation to get a better situation going at Town Hall.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Sure thing.
There is one thought, just in a clarification. My understanding is that the old fire station was on Ocean Avenue, where the landmark gallery is right now, and indeed, there was a lot of hubbub and traffic there. Then moved to Elm Street, but this is certainly, I think you would agree, neither Elm Street nor here has anything near the level of tourists and people as were present on Ocean Avenue at the landmark site. So I don't quite understand that point, but I should leave it there. All righty, are there anyone else who has a thought? Please, Robin.
Hello, Robin Phillips, Kennebunkport. I started thinking about, the anonymous donation, and I'm curious about why we were going to get $1 million for the town hall last time, and now it's $750 when the tax card says $772. I don't think anybody's property's gone down in value recently. I know. If anyone has that situation, I'd love to hear that. But it just makes me question it. And I don't think, maybe you didn't think of this, but the passage of LD 1829, which takes away town rights to limit their growth permits, that's going to take that away. And I know the growth planning committee is working on that. And we could potentially, in the growth area with sewer, which is where Elm Street is, have 40 units without parking requirements. And that, I think Dan can back that up. So I'm just, wondering, why would we sell it cheaper? Do we have a buyer? It just seems strange to not look forward and see that that might be worth a lot more than $750.
Robert, it might be. We didn't want to inflate what that value would be. I think it would be unfair. We know we can get 750, and we believe that it will sell more. And when it does, the bond will be lower. So the bond you're seeing now is one of the worst-case scenarios. It would never cost more than this. We have time to sell that property, to be able to lower the bond we have to write. We have time to raise additional money in order to lower the bond we have to write. But we don't want to promise that. We can't put that in the vote. I would love to say.
Well,
that
if
the
I had
bonds-
750, I'd buy it because there can be 9 units possibly.
That's not the price tag. That's
No.
all we are allocating for revenue against lowering the bond. It's going to sell for more. The bond is going to be lower, but we can't promise that at this point. That's good news. We're actually showing you a higher number and asking you to vote for it because we don't want to overpromise. But we know that it's going to be lower, at least I believe.
So
As
do you
said.
know that the building potential on that lot, which is approximately 1/3 of an acre in a growth area with sewer, with no parking requirements, I mean, that could be 9 units there, and that would be worth millions.
But I would, personally, I don't know if I really want to see that there, so we have some control on this thing, but if that
We
happens.
don't, though.
If that happens, Robin, then the cost of the whole town hall will go down.
Yes, but 18, why wouldn't we, yeah, okay, so
So,
8, you know what I'm saying?
So, yes. we
Thank you.
will-
Can I
so
listen? Or it's
we
not a
will-
debate, remember?
So
So
we
go ahead,
will-
Mary Beth.
We will do this, so this is very similar to,
Misstatements can be corrected.
so
Well-
this is very similar to the lot that we put up on the bond, or on the vote
McCabe.
last year.
McCabe.
Oh,
Bars,
school, yeah.
by the school. So we came in, we knew the valuation, we knew in the open market we should be able to procure more, but to be safe for the bond, because once we go out for the bond vote, then we can't go back. If we didn't achieve that, we'd have to go back for another vote.
But 1829 only came into effect in June. So this was before that
No,
happened.
That's different, no.
But even.
It's not different, it's connected.
No, but even, so we anticipate that that property is gonna sell for a lot more than 750 that's on the bond. And that will, like John said, that will drive the price down. We don't have a deal in hand. We have nothing signed that legally we can take to the voters and say, because we actually don't have the authority to go out and do that until we go through a vote. So the board can't go off and, or the town can, with the board, go off and procure, go out and say, hey, who's interested, make me an offer. We can't do that until after the vote is. So the only thing we had when we looked at the numbers was to pull what it is assessed for. And that we thought was, being very prudent. And then with the hopes, like John said, is that when it does sell, it's going to sell for a lot more than that. And that will directly impact the bond, and we will not be bonding for that level that's on that. We will go less.
And less of a tax hit, that's the
Yeah,
whole.
and it'll be less of a tax hit.
Well, I just think the public is not aware of the potential for 1829 and the impacts on our town, which we have no rights to our growth permits now. So, and if one of those is affordable, it can be higher, 14 feet higher than existing buildings around it, which are pretty tall. So, you can look, it's worth money, that lot. It's very close to the river. And I just don't think that people understand what's coming if this 1829, holds the way it is. I know they're still working on it, but that's what they passed. And it's very drastic.
Yeah, and to your point then, all of our growth area, to your point, all of our growth area could change with that book. And so it's important for our residents to understand 1829, LD 1829, and what impacts it may or may not have to our town.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm not done. One more thing. We have been a Tree City USA since 1976. Are we still a Tree City USA? So we planted an American elm, the one that's going to be taken down for this project, in 2003 for our 350th anniversary of town. And this is a town that's focused on heritage and history. We hear it all the time. And I think that is the wrong thing to do. That's a beautiful tree. And we've taken care of our trees since 1976. The best field trip from Consolidated is walking around, looking at the guy put the IVs in. You know, we learned to take care of our trees. And it just seems, that's a special tree. It was planted 350 years. That's a lot of heritage. And to just cut it down for a town hall seems sort of the wrong direction. So I would hope that there would be some way to save that tree, no matter what happens, because it's important. Thank you.
But just to be clear, the tree is 25 years old. It was planted for
Yes.
the 350.
I said that,
Thank you.
2003.
Thank
I
you.
have it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Melinda,
Another thought? Yes.
I'm Wayne Burbank from Goose Rocks Beach. I have a few comments and questions about the proposal for the new town hall. I'll try to keep it short. I know you've got a lot of work to do here tonight. I commend all the people that have put a lot of time into all the proposals. It would be nice to have a nice, new, shiny town hall, I agree. But at $10 million, I'm not sure I agree. By the time you get the bond and everything else, it's gonna be $10 million, but the building committee said that the town hall can be located elsewhere. Why can't it go on the 8 acres of land near the consolidated school? It makes some sense to have the town hall and the fire department at different sites for future expansion. I agree upon that. The town could add, plus the town could add, pay for parking on this parking lot out here. It'd make quite a lot of money in the summer, you know? I mean, if you got this new town hall going out here, there's not gonna be many parking places left, right?
no, that's not
No,
true.
that's not correct.
It's
There will
not
be,
correct.
there will be as many, just about as many parking spots as there are now.
Boy, I gotta see that.
No, I'm just, that's,
I gotta see that.
well, you can take a
How do you
look.
put a building of that size out here and not?
Because it's going to be, it's not gonna impact the public parking. We will lose a few spots, but we will not lose that many spots. And those spots will be able to be used by people coming to do business at Town Hall.
Right, right.
So rather than searching for parking over on Elm Street, or in that general
I've never
neighborhood.
been to Elm Street when there's a parking problem, never.
Well, I'm just, so we're just gonna say,
Yeah.
I hear your point. I
Yeah.
will listen to your point. I'm just telling you, you're not gonna lose parking spots. And to your point about possibly putting pay to park, maybe that is something we can look at later.
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
Go on.
I don't, to my knowledge, it's never been mentioned, but I mean,
Yeah.
Guncourt's got parking on every square inch of everything now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's too much, but down Dock Square, you're making a little money there in the summer, you know, so. So another thing, why does the town hall need a 100-seat room, meeting room? The few times I've been to the consolidated school, I mean, that seemed to work fine, and they only use that a couple of times a year, I think. So I don't know why they need to build a 100-seat auditorium when they've got a nice place at the gymnasium at the consolidated school. There are a lot of people at Goose Rocks, Kennebunkport, Cape Porpoise that they are very, very well off. I'm not one of them. They are not concerned about another 10 million added to the budget. Myself and a lot of others I know at Goose Rocks are concerned. There are a lot of older homeowners at Goose Rocks that have to rent their homes for 5 or 6 or 7 weeks in the summer just to pay the taxes. $22,000, $25,000. And they're worried about that. When the taxes go up, which they are gonna go up at some point, are they gonna be able to pay them, or are they gonna have to move out of town? You know, there's people that's been living there for years, you know, they're not newbies. My wife and I might be one of those that have to leave, by the way. I hope everybody thinks long and hard about this town hall proposal, as we are still paying on the $14 million village parcel land, the worst purchase that the town ever made, by far.
Thank you.
I would just like to address the issue of the bond and the interest, because that has come up before. And I think in fairness, we're hearing it is a sticker shock when you say $6.5 million the max plus the interest. I think what people also need to be aware of is that the town has about $17 million outstanding right now in debt over the next 20 years. So we are paying at the most $1.4 million of a $30 million annual budget in debt payments. That's what we're doing. So think of it as a credit card. That's what you're paying on your credit card. And I just want, this would become a fixed debt to the town, bond and principal payment. If it was, let's say, 10 million, which it's not going to be, but let's say it's 10 million, you have to think about that as a 20-year expenditure, over 20 years. So you take that number and you divide it by 20. That's going to give you an annual percentage, an annual number that you're going to have to pay out. You also have to think about what the town's budget's going to be for the next 20 years. So we have $17, $18 million of debt outstanding right now, today, that we have to pay over the next 20 years. Over the next 20 years, this town's budget's going to be $900 million. So $17 million versus $900 million over 20 years. Fixed. So it's not a lot of money. And I'm not diminishing what people think that is a sticker shock number. But over 20 years, a $10 million bond is not a lot of money. We're also going to lose 4 bonds in the next few years. So our debt level is going to remain the same as it is about today once we get rid of the police station, the rec department, the tower, and one of the wastewater bonds that are expiring in the next couple of years. Those debt payments will no longer be needed to be paid. We will be left with the village parcels, sites, and 2 wastewater bonds. If we add this to it, we will be at the same place as we are today. And we will be a very small percentage of the overall budget that we do every year. And to what someone said earlier, the town's portion of that is very little. Look at your school department, look at your county budgets. But my quick math, the county budget for the next 20 years is going to cost this town $33 million in taxes. The school budget's going to cost you about $416 million in taxes. And the town's budget is going to cost you about $440 million in taxes. And so that's almost $900 million, of which only $18 million of that will have to be paid to your credit card debt for your new town hall, your wastewater, and the village parcel. So it's a very small percentage. And, you know, we also know that it will be a fixed cost once we set it up. And to the other board members' point, and to some of the town hall members' point, and to Robin's point, we possibly could get more money for the town hall. That would reduce what we need to put onto the bond. We possibly could get more money from, someone else could donate another $500,000. That will reduce what we need to put on the bond. So that bond is at the top that it's going to be. That's, if you vote yes on this, that's what you're authorizing us to go out and say it is. We then have the responsibility to then try and reduce that number. In the long run, it is not a lot of money. State of Maine allows this town could go into $400 million in debt. So $18 million of a $400 million credit line is not a lot of money. And I think people should think about that because we do need a new town hall.
Maybe another way you might want to process all those numbers is that on an evaluation of $500,000 for a home and property, this, if it were at the full amount, at the full $9 million, that would be $70 a year, which I understand is money, it's real money. But it's $70 a year, you know, less than $6 a month, but I mean, it's real money. But that's the level of commitment. And if it's $1 million home, it would be $140 a year. And I don't want to trivialize that to anyone's budget, but it's not, in my opinion, a crushing debt for what I think, I feel we owe our town staff a proper place to be able to function and do their business. This is a town of 3,000 that blossoms to 12,000 in many months of the year. We have all the operational facilities that we have to handle for that, and this is an important piece in supporting our town. So that is my 2 cents. And Melinda, please.
Hi, Melinda Anderson, Kennebunkport resident for my whole life. I have a lot of points, and I hope I can make them quickly because I know you guys have a lot to say and do. But back when this came forward in 2023, Nalto Inouye tried to do a presentation, I guess. He tried to just speak as I'm speaking. And he tried presenting some information that would have been really beneficial, I think, that would have helped to realize what the numbers are when we speak that it's too expensive. Knowing that, for me, I've done buildings, I've built my home, I built my barn, I built my farm stand, I've built it all. So I know what numbers are, and I know what budget is, and I know how to stay within it, and I know, like, as a Mainer, you use resources wisely. So when Nalto came, he was trying to say, from his perspective of having solar, he had a business in Arundel, and he was part of the Arundel plan. And the part today, I just happened to come across the paperwork of what he tried to present. And in the presentation, the part that really sticks out at me is that they were 100% solar for $2.95 million 2 years ago. Or excuse me, in 2023, still 2 years ago. And the town hall that was being presented was 8.8 then. And as to Lori's point, she said, you know, it was in the survey, number 1 was the cost. And Nalto wasn't allowed to present what he knew. And actually, a police officer was here, and I don't see police officers here today, so I don't know why a police officer was here and why a police officer was called to get him to stop speaking. When that happened.
Go ahead.
That happened.
Sorry.
Absolutely happened. I think, you know, Mary Beth's the one that asked the police officer to stand down. So he was trying to pass out some paperwork, just papers. And this is the paper that he was trying to pass out. I can give it to you folks. I would think you already have it, but I could give it to you. And the town hall in Arundel was the part that really stuck out to me today, was after 4 attempts over the past 25 years, the Arundel Building Committee and current Select Board found a good balance of high-performance building construction and on-site solar production by combining the 2 fully mature technology. Arundel, it's not quite right, but is now 100% self-generated solar municipality. That was not long ago. And we were, someone on the budget board as well as the committee said that we were being disingenuous and maybe disinformation and all these things in an editorial. So it made me write to the town manager of Arundel, Keith Trefetherin, which I have a copy for each of you guys and women. And I'd like to say, I'd read from what I wrote to him. And I was asking him about the town hall, and he says that he did, this actually, that's missing one, sorry. He did say that, that the town hall was done for the price that Nalto said, and right here. I said that I was inquiring to see what the town of Arundel spent on the new town hall. Would you please provide the following information? Cost of planning, design, separate from the cost of the build, also what the square footage is in the year it was built, and if there's any organizations using that building.
His response was, "The town clerk forwarded your request to my desk, and I am happy to help. Most of the town planning for the building was a local effort with a building committee and a select board, after which we hired an architectural firm to assist in firming up the design needed square footage and any and all of state, federal, and ADA requirements. The firm cost around $250,000. This cost came from a capital reserve fund the town had for the future municipal buildings construction. The overall square footage of the building is just under 10,000 square feet, with the office space, meeting rooms, taking up 7,000 square feet, and the rest is either storage or space for mechanicals. Total cost of the building, including our 9 solar trackers, including solar, were 9 solar trackers, costing the town $2.9 million. The town bonded this cost over 20 years at $189, $151 a year. If you need anything else, please reach out." So then it was said that that information doesn't relate to us because we have more people in our town, especially when in the summer we have more people. Their town is 4,333, and ours is like 3,000 something, give or take. So when it came out as just misinformation and all that, pursued a little bit further and got a hold of Mike Ouellette, who was the construction, who did the construction for Arundel. This is, of course, 2 years ago, not current today. But he said, "I did receive the email about the Arundel Town Hall. Estimating a similar build in today's dollar is tricky." There's an echo there. At the site had its challenges. The site there had its challenges. On a decent piece of land, I would anticipate the construction cost only to be $2.5 to $3 million, including the site work. Feel free to contact me if you want to discuss any more. So why we couldn't talk before and why it was kind of not talked about now, knowing that we allocated $400,000. I didn't vote for $400,000 to be spent on that, but there was $400,000 that was spent to think and design a new town hall, and now there's $120 left over, if I have it right from the last time I asked. Why couldn't we have had video? We asked for video. We asked for more clarity to be able to, you know, not get this far and then waste our money again. So that being said, I am for renovating the town hall. I've gone by many times, and as I spoke before, I don't see the parking issue. I think the parking issue that keeps being spoken of is of if we were to do voting there and all that. Of course, there's not room for that. But even in your pictures of any from your consultants to your tax map, you get on any of those pictures and there's parking. I went today, pulled right in, no problem, to get an absentee ballot. So, you know, the misinformation, I don't think is coming from us. You know, I'm not saying it's completely wrong, but I'm saying that what I see is not the way that you see it. And that being said, I want to repeat that Arundel tried this 3 times before the 4th time they hit their mark. And they are 100% solar, including the solar going to the fire department, the public works department, a street light, heating and cooling in Arundel. And that was just 2 years ago. So 2.7 and 8.8 was the numbers I was trying to compare. And I wasn't really allowed to do it in a free way that I didn't feel like I was going to be, you know, pitchforked out of here. So, and Nalto he was pitchforked out of here by trying. And he was 45 years of solar, and he was consulted on the solar job. So, you know, missing our mark, we missed it. He could have really spoke and really shared how to get the cost to come down. So that being said, the way that the ballot reads, if someone votes through the town hall, but not the solar and not the geothermal, I think I heard CMP's going up 10% every year from the numbers from the consultant, 10% every single year. That's in your presentation.
And it's all electric, 10% every year. So I really wish it was all together. It was less, smaller, don't need a shower, don't need a $2,500 fridge. You know, I did break it apart because I understand what it takes to build something, and I'm really frugal. I'm a Mainer. You use resources wisely, and you stay within your budget. I hear your budget. I hear it. I hear that's normal to you. It's not normal to us. Before the village parcel was purchased, the debt that we used to have was like $1,735,000. Now it's like, no big deal, just put it on the credit card. I don't like credit cards. I pay my credit card off every single month to be able to make sure we stay level. So I don't see the same thing. And I'll take one more step to say, I did go a little further, and I called Wells, and I asked them about their town hall, asked them about their space and what the size was. And in Wells, it was built in 1998. I talked to the head of the finance, I talked to the code, I talked to the clerk, I talked to everybody. You can find the same information I got. So the electric at Elm Street, where we are now, if we're talking about efficiency, trying to keep things efficient, small keeps it efficient. Vaulted ceilings and skylights and all that, that doesn't make it efficient, not in my mind. And Elm Street right now, electric and heating is $13,500. And the proposed new, whatever we build, if we build, I'm a vote no, is $37,368, all electric. If we don't do solar, that number's going up. So the building's bigger. You know you're gonna have more janitor, more cleaning, more people to go in there, meaning it's gonna be people coming from the public parking lot to come in, use the bathrooms. There's gonna be more of everything. Down at the town hall where it is now, I think there's 2 bathrooms if I have it right. The village parcel was $25,000 and something for heating, or excuse me, for electric. And I think heating was a line through it in the presentation I saw. So we're going from 13.5 where we are to, if we had done the village parcel, 25,000 to now 37,000. And Wells, who has a 17,376 gross square feet, but the living space, that was kind of weird to me, is 9,000. So it's not too far from what we're doing. Their total cost for heating and cooling, or electric and propane, which they heat by propane, is $19,860. So still, our numbers are way off. I mean, it's not my number, you know, I don't agree. I feel like this is inflated. I don't think it was heard of what the town really wants. And I can say, I know if you were to renovate at Elm Street, it is gonna displace you. But like the kids at school, they have to go into the rented buildings, which rented buildings could go to the old town barn on Beechwood, you know, and then you could expand without like this drastic thing. I don't believe in leaving our, you know, archives at risk. I think they should have been taken care of. And I know there's 7,000 every year to, you know, do certain things for historical documents. But to show hope in this room with a water pipe above and showing the danger or the potential danger of our records, I mean, that, it's all just, it's not hitting its mark. I think it should be smaller, it should be more conservative. Big towns, halls are big for big towns. We're a small town. Maybe it's looking like we're getting bigger, but I say try and keep it small, you know? Just try and keep it small. And on another note about the parking, I counted the parking spots at the Elm Street. There's 21, and then in the presentation, I saw 26 back here. And then I went by the parking lot sometime last week, and people were parking on the grass because there wasn't enough. And there's no extra here yet, not yet. And they're already parking on the grass because there's not enough space for the tourists. So I would like to just look and see if there's anything else I wanted to say, because takes something to get me in here, and I'm missing a good chicken dinner with my daughter and a friend. So yeah, that's it. But can I give you these? These are the letters from the town manager.
Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy your dinner.
Well, I'll stay for a minute.
Yes, Russ.
Raise it up a little bit. Russ Grady, Kennebunkport. I'll change the topic, not to say trying to get everyone off topic, but so for those that don't know, I spend a good deal of my time working with land, whether it's preserving and conserving it or helping people buy and sell it. I want to speak to a challenge on the buy-sell side that I'm dealing with today with some of our clients and just bring general awareness to it. I've served on the planning board. I don't pretend that any solution is easy to come to, but I think some work is needed to try to come to a solution here. I don't know much about the 18 whatever bill and the growth permits, but it's about growth permitting. I've come across a few situations in recent years where developers are trying to build a subdivision that was approved and there are no growth permits left. So they're sitting on a significant capital improvement and it's costing them money. Conversely, I know that when, say, the Glen at Goose Rocks was under robust construction, that there were local people out there who couldn't build a home because they were taken by development. So what I would hope to think is if the planning board is in a position where they are going to approve a subdivision in a zone where there are few growth permits, that maybe we can think creatively and allot a certain amount, maybe above and beyond the boundaries or the numbers that we have, so development can continue, those become tax-paying homes, but yet locals who maybe want to split a lot, my neighbor, for example, when I call Galen's office a lot asking what's the status of next year, because there are a lot of people wondering, am I going to invest in this property if I can't build for a year? And the answer is usually no. So as we're looking to get some growth permits to build out an approved 13-lot subdivision in the rural zone, today, I think one remains because our developer managed to quickly get to, and because some local folks are building homes, which I think is great. So anyway, the growth permits and in having a reduced number in the rural area, I get why we do that. There's little infrastructure, but it's pitting development and so the KCT guy in me says, he cringes at this, but some of the benefits that come from that development don't happen. And then it also prevents some folks who might be local here for a long time splitting off a lot so that a kid can build in. Well, they can't now, they have to wait a year. So anyhow, I don't know the solution. I'd love for us to come to one or to think about it, but when we approved subdivisions in an area where not as many permits will exist, what can we do to maybe make that better so that both locals can build and developers can do their thing?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take that. Thank you, Russ.
Tracy wants to-
Tracy? Yes.
Wow.
That's a Russ effect.
Tracy O'Rourke, Town Clerk. I just wanted to remind everyone that absentee balloting is currently happening for the November 4th election. Next Thursday, October 30th, is the last day that you're allowed to request a ballot by state law. So if you are interested, make sure you come into Town Hall up until next Thursday. And I will be there until 6 p.m. that night to register new voters and also issue absentee ballots. So next Thursday night, 6 p.m. is your last chance, and they do all need to be returned by 8 p.m. on Election Day. Postmark does not count on ballots. So if you do take it out an absentee ballot, make sure you get it returned so we can count your vote.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tracy. Yes.
So Dan Saunders, Kennebunkport resident, live on Duckwood. And I just want to comment on the bonding because, our capital plan has bonding identified for purchases and expenses and things we will have to face in the future, especially with the climate change and sea level rise. So I want to just be careful. Everything you said about specifically for the town the town hall is correct. but there will be bonds coming off, and we will likely be asking for bonds to come on.
Yeah.
So the total's gonna really not just go down, it will continue to be at some point and go up. And the town, the state law is we could do 15% of our evaluation, which all of us would be run out of town if we ever tried
Well,
to spend
we're
$500 million
not doing that,
from
but
bonding, so.
It is
Thank
what
you.
you can do if you want.
Yeah, yeah, thank you, Dan. Yes? Would you please, if you could come to the mic, sorry. I know it. Gonna pull that
You
mic
gotta
down.
pull
a
that
bit.
down.
You don't think I'm that tall?
On your tippy toes.
All right, you didn't answer my question on why we can't build on the 8 acres that's over by the consolidated school. What's the matter with that land?
There's nothing the matter with it. There are different opinions in town as to what we should do with that land. And there are many folks that believe that land should be preserved for future needs and future generations. So that's one piece. There are others that want to sell it. I mean, there's a lot of differences.
It actually was on the matrix that the committee went through, the town hall committee, when they evaluated it. And if I'm just going off the top of my head, so we'd have to go back and look at the document with the committee. But, so part of the things that property got knocked for was, the fact that we were trying to disperse some of like high usage times. So you have a lot of backup of traffic on School Street right there. And that town hall being in the same time zone, work time zone as when the school's operating would be an insult to injury, in that area. The other thing that it got knocked down for, because remember this was a rating system that the town committee tried to do, so they tried to look at different properties and then rate them accordingly. I think there was like 7 or 8 factors that went down the scale. The other part that property had an issue with is that we'd have to actually run utilities up from the street, and in order to get back, you would have to develop way back and up that. So the cost of running those utilities back there was also, because that was something that we were trying to reduce, right? So we tried to look at reducing the footprint, tried to reduce the overall cost, and one of the ways to do that was, and why this site was picked, or one of the reasons the site was picked, is that we had utilities right here at the street. At the village parcel, we would have to run them in. At School Street, that lot, we would have had to run them back up. So if you there's a matrix in the documentation on the web, and it shows you, why that got rated down below.
The other issue with the McCabe parcel was the cost of retaining walls,
Oh, yeah.
because we are gonna have to build into the slope there, and so it would have to be tiered parking, and they said that would be an additional cost.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Anyone on Zoom?
No hands raised.
Then we will move on to item number 5. This is a public hearing on the November 4th referendum question regarding land use ordinance amendments. I'm sorry, Russ, yeah, just quickly, what's the thought?
When you're ready to call for the public hearing.
Thank you. So hold on one second.
That's why he's holding my hand up.
Got it. We do have the planning board here, so I would ask if you could please open your meeting.
Ed?
Ed Francis, I chair the planning board. There are 3 members here this evening, Mike West, George Lichter, and myself, and that constitutes a quorum, and we open the meeting.
Thank you very much. So having heard that, I will now open the public hearing, and I ask us if there's anyone in the public that would like to have a comment regarding the new maximums as presented in the land use ordinance. And Mr. Grady.
I'm going to put it back up. Good evening, still Russ Grady. I wrote this down, so I'd be quick. So I want to begin first by expressing my appreciation for the dedication and thoughtful work of growth planning, as well as the Planning and Development Office. The time, care, collaboration invested in shaping the proposed amendments are evident and commendable. Having reviewed the amendments closely, there are a few more changes being proposed that are noted in the note of explanation, particularly concerning permitted and conditional uses across most zones. Over the past year, and Dan can attest to this, I've watched many of the GPC meetings where the recommendations that have come forward to the public were developed. And in those discussions, the committee emphasized several important goals. Preserving the rural character of the farm and forest zone. The quote was, "We're trying to preserve your farm and forest area to be the rural nature you're looking for." Also, addressing the spread of heavy commercial uses in areas without adequate infrastructure. So addressing the quote, addressing the concern of business enterprises. There's creep with heavy commercial uses in areas that aren't compatible with the infrastructure in place. And then lastly, striking balance so that commercial activity is directed towards zones where the necessary infrastructure is in place. So these guiding principles were sound. The resulting proposal, I think, reflects substantial progress, notably in the farm and forest zone, where 14 conditional uses are being proposed for removal, including hotels, motels, manufacturing, veterinary clinics, warehouses. Makes perfect sense to me. I think that's a great thing. If adopted, only 4 conditional uses would remain. It's an impressive step towards preserving the intent of that zone. My concern, which is why I'm here in front of you, is that while these uses are being removed from farm and forest, they're effectively being shifted across the street into free enterprise. And by across the street, I'm in free enterprise. My neighbor Sean is in farm and forest. In free enterprise, we have 45 conditional uses that exist, meaning it'd have to go before planning board. And these shifts, or these risks, undermine the very goals that the GPC set out to achieve. The free enterprise zone is the second largest zone in town after farm and forest, has virtually no public water or wastewater utilities except for a limited area down by Cape Square, School Street, and North Street, so closer to population where stuff is happening. I mentioned the 45 conditional uses, many of them from 1972, commercial complex, commercial center, auto body repair shop, manufacturing, business offices. It borders every zone in town, the free enterprise zone, except for Dock Square and Cape Arundel, and again, notably farm and forest. So while we, I think, are proposing great change and appropriate change in farm and forest, which I think is a great thing, across the street, in the streets being Oak Ridge Road, Goose Rocks Road, Beechwood Avenue. You know, free enterprise is a vein through the heart of our town. And in free enterprise today, by my count using the GIS site, so these numbers aren't going to be exact, but it was a try, about 736 properties exist there, and about 8 are truly commercial, such as Hidden Pond, Lost Fire, Goose Rocks Dairy, stuff like that. So given this, I respectfully urge the Growth Planning Committee to give the same careful consideration to the free enterprise zone that it has devoted to the farm and forest zone. We should focus on preserving what makes our community special: peaceful, rural, and residential neighborhoods, quiet evenings, dark skies, and the unique character of the town. To allow for substantial commercial activity in a large rural and residential area, one without sufficient infrastructure, runs counter to the thoughtful work already done to protect farm and forest. So let's ensure our approach is consistent, balanced, and truly aligned with the vision for Kennebunkport's future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Russ, we actually are, I think on this proposal, right, we sort of pulled back on the changes in farm and forest, right? And we're going to go back and reevaluate because some things were potentially pulled out, like a veterinarian, you know, so the committee is going to go back and relook at that. So this one that's going through to the voting doesn't have that, but I think all your points you made, regardless of that, that's just a clarification from my point. But all the points that you made, regardless of that comment, are still, and I know I see Dan shaking his head quite a bit, so I know.
I don't profess any of this is easy. I mean, that's the hardest work to do, is in that zone. And I think about towns like Kennebunk where they have zones that are more commercial zones, and they kind of stopped and then protected what remains. You know, any of those big activities or big commercial uses, on my side of the road, you know, next door or across from someone in Farm and Forest will have the same negative impact on value. And it's a zone where I mentioned, you know, 99% of it is residential, so kind of it's naturally been taken care of that way. But, and I know Galen has shared, thankfully, we have to allow for certain uses in our town if it's allowed with this, you know, there's a law that requires some of this, but my hope would be that we maybe look at that big wedge that goes down the middle and touches almost every other zone and just like try really hard to find out how we can make
it narrow?
well, or just allow for certain things
Yeah,
in the
I-
most
I think-
appropriate areas.
I think it's a deeper look, more in-depth look at certain areas.
Totally.
And just like when we did the first pass through on the stuff that would be coming out of Farm and Forest, then it was like, hey, we gotta go back, let's go back, because like having a veterinarian clinic,
Yeah.
you know, like a rehab facility like
Yeah.
they have in different places, that actually should be in a farm,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
zone. But so yeah, point
Yeah.
well taken, and
Thank you. And it's, you're gonna upset somebody no matter what you do. So,
We
but,
haven't found that out yet, really. I haven't run across that.
but I would love for that to be like
Have you?
next on deck. It's, I
Thank
think it's really important work. Thank you.
Any other comments from folks in the room? Any comments online? Any hands raised? Then if there are no further comments, I will close the public hearing. Thank you very much for your input.
And planning board
And the
needs to
planning-
close.
You guys have to close your meeting.
Sir?
Yeah.
So done?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Planning board has closed their meeting as well.
Can I
Thank
just,
you all for coming.
Yes. thank
can I just ask the board to consider appointing Richard Sherman
Oh, well,
next, since he's here and the planning board can be
Yep.
there
Oh.
to witness it?
Okay,
Okay, planning
Alright.
Sure.
board, is the planning board?
I'm here.
Okay.
come on up, Rich.
Look at me.
Come on
All
up,
righty, all righty. We got some questions for
come
you.
on up. Oh, yeah.
We learned from another town from David
Yeah.
on how they're supposed to really.
We have to grill
these
you.
people.
So this is item 8 on your agenda, where we're appointing Richard Sherman to the planning board with a term expiring in June of 2028.
So moved. Second.
Okay, I was waiting for them.
Well, I move that we appoint Richard Sherman to the planning board for a 3-year term.
I have first,
Second.
I have a second, any discussion, all in favor? Thank you, Richard.
Congratulations, Richard. See Tracy.
Tracy's right there.
Tracy's right.
Yeah, it's Tracy.
We're doing his oath right now, yeah.
So do we wait?
No, you can go on.
All right, we will move on in the consideration of time, no disrespect to Richard. Item 6 is the award purchase of a vibrator roller. And Matt is here to tell us what that is and what we're going to be doing.
You're up. You're all set. See you next Wednesday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is
Thank
fun,
you.
go ahead.
Perfect.
You're
Good
on.
evening.
We wanna keep rolling, so
Yes.
just
Yeah.
ignore everything happening
I know.
behind you, just go.
Right? Matt Philbrick, Operations Manager, Kennebunkport Public Works Highway Department. So in front of me is a proposal for a vibratory roller, or an evaluation recommendation for a vibratory roller. Does anyone need a description of what that
That'd be
is?
kind of fun just
Can
for
we get a
people online.
demonstration?
I can try to do it in the air, but a vibratory roller is kind of 2 very heavy steel cylinders that have the ability to vibrate and compact soils and gravel to a higher density.
Very good.
Was that good?
Yeah.
There's a nice picture of it.
Eric would have taken considerably longer, I think, so that's,
Trying to make it short and sweet.
I'm voting Matt comes in from that one.
So this summer, we did expand our roadside graveling capabilities with a skid steer and road widener. That machine efficiently lets us place shoulders on all of our new paved roads or even doing maintenance shouldering. Kind of a key part of that is the compaction factor of those shoulders, just to hold the road together, to make the road a lot safer. And it also helps with long-term reduction of long-term maintenance costs. On the second page is kind of a quick rundown of the 3 different prices that we got. Both the Dynapack and the Bowmag are much heavier machines. And the big key on these 2 machines, the Bowmag and the Dynapack, are they're actually a diesel-operated machine. This Whacker one is quite a bit lighter and is actually powered by a Honda motor, gas motor. So,
And it's totally, I mean, it's half the price, but it's totally adequate for what you need.
yeah, so
we're not
that
going
size
on the
machine
cheap
for us
sorry.
gives us the ability to use it in many different scenarios, whether it's shouldering, doing any sort of hot top or pavement work in our roadways or sidewalks, and also use it on some of our gravel roads after we kind of grade those out.
Great.
Great. So, I mean, I'll ask for a motion if anyone has any questions. So, do I have a motion?
Yeah, I will make a motion to, let's see, what do we want to do? To authorize the award of the roller purchase to Whacker for $23,551.
I'll second that.
Sorry.
I'll second whatever she said.
I have a first and a second. Any discussion? No. All in favor? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Now, the item 7 is to approve waste hauling permit for solid waste hauler Win Waste. Win is a New Hampshire company, but they have a location in Elliott, Maine. This is a new hauler for Kennebunkport, and in accordance with our ordinance, the staff requested that they submit a waste hauling permit, which they have done. They have completed their work, they have paid their fee, and the staff recommends approval.
So I will make a motion to approve the waste hauling permit for Win Waste.
A second.
First and second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Great. Item 8 we have already completed, so moving to item 9 is to appoint Adam Burgess to Kennebunk River Committee as the non-resident member with a term expiring June of 2028.
Did Adam come and speak to us, Laurie? Didn't
No.
someone come from
We
outside
had the
town?
river committee
Right.
come and tell us what they were doing and stuff.
I didn't know
but
if it
it
was
wasn't this
That was
Adam.
Bob Danzillo
Oh,
who
okay.
came.
And there are 5 members on the committee, 2 are Kennebunk, 2 are Kennebunkport, and
And
1
one
is Arundel.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to appoint Adam Burgess to the Kennebunk River Committee with the term expiring in June 2028.
Second.
I have a first and second. No discussion, all in favor. Item 10 is a housekeeping item. This is the fact that Turkey Day and
Christmas.
Turkey Day, Thanksgiving, and Christmas fall on a board night. So rather than that, our tradition has been to hold a warrant signing meeting that week, just so that we can be sure our folks can be paid. There's a proposal on the table from me to do it on Mondays of that week, the 24th and the 22nd of December, the 24th of November, 22nd of December, to do a 10 o'clock meeting that morning.
You got the 25th circled here?
That's okay, it's
Okay.
wider than that,
Okay.
yeah.
So, I don't have a problem with that.
I'm okay with that.
Are you around?
Joe?
I don't know yet, but I don't have a problem with
Okay.
it.
All righty, so let's, if we can then, advise Lori, please, to set those as the 24th of November and the 22nd of December as meetings in lieu of the holidays.
At 10 a.m.
At 10 a.m.
Proposed right now.
Yeah, double digits.
Okay.
And then we are,
Do we need to vote on that?
Are we good? I
Well,
don't think we need to
Do we need to vote on that, Laurie? This seems.
Oh, we do need to vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, do I have a motion?
I will make a motion to set the second meeting of November for November 24th at 10 a.m. and the second meeting in December for December 22nd at 10 a.m., both being Mondays.
Second.
First and second, any discussion, all in favor? And then item 11 is just to recognize that we have, in honor of Allison Kennaway, a memorial scholarship fund in her name. The town is accepting donations. You can go online to do that, and we hope that folks will take this opportunity to be able to establish a memorial scholarship in nursing in Allison's name. So we have to now, we have a whole list of donations, so I guess we'll be doing this in blocks, so we can just have a vote to accept those donations as currently received.
So I'd like to make a motion to accept the donations with a great amount of gratitude.
Second?
First and second, any
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
Is this set up through like a 501c3?
No, it's under the town's trust ability.
All right, thank you.
So they are taxable,
They are tax exempt when you give to a town.
they are tax
So
exempt.
they-
Anybody who wants to give to the town.
Gets a tax
Ken,
write
you're
off.
welcome to, you'll have your money, you can write it off.
Charitable donation.
Marvelous. So I had a first and second, and no further discussion, all in favor? Great. And other business, Joe?
Done?
David?
No other business. I will just mention that we have had a couple meetings, or we're going to be having a couple meetings regarding the bus situation in Dock Square. So I would stay tuned to that, since some of the people in the audience were here for that tonight.
Good.
What do you mean? Oh, here?
They're in the audience, I think they
No,
just.
but we're gonna have them,
No, we're going to proceed to start discussing what to do about the bus situation in Dock Square. Don't know what's going to happen, but we're
in the
going
planning
No,
meeting?
no,
or the
no, we're-
select board?
Separate meeting.
separate meetings.
Oh,
There are
separate.
discussions between the chamber and the town.
Are you saying the bus situation?
Bus,
Buses,
B-U-S.
the
The
tour
buses.
buses.
Thank you. Solar
Yes.
courses.
Mary Beth?
Yes, I'd like to ask if my other select board members had time to think about this speed bumps on removal on New Bedford Road, and if so, could we put it on the agenda for next time's meeting to have the discussion?
Mr. Chairman, you were the one.
I failed to bring that up at the Goose Rocks Beach meeting, which was my miss. But yes, I think we put it on for discussion, if we could. That would give me 2 weeks just to reach out, just to notify them, to inform them that we're thinking about it in case they wanted to come and speak.
Okay.
So, but is that okay? Does that sound reasonable? That's great. So we will put that on the agenda for our next meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome.
You're entirely welcome, Ms. Gilbert.
And I have nothing, Lori?
I think you want to talk about the new composting program?
I want to talk about the new composting program, and we do have a wonderful announcement on that. Is the sign there? Is it coming soon? It's coming soon.
Matt has it.
Just ran
Matt, come
away.
back. No,
Matt.
don't be running away.
Composting sign.
Yes, we just received it today, it'll be up tomorrow.
Excellent, thank you, sir.
Where is it?
So, and that's for information.
Public Works.
These are 2 bins that are placed at the town garage, just outside the gate, so you can reach them anytime. It's a group called Mr. Fox. They are out of
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire, thank you.
You're welcome.
They're out of New Hampshire. They will be collecting once a week. They take kitchen organics, not grasses, not shrubs, and this is all marked there for you. Disposable bags are fine as long as they are certified compostable. The hope is that folks will be willing, for those that don't compost at home, would see this as an opportunity to collect their kitchen scraps, bring them as often as they wish. As many people just like to put them in the freezer and bring them once a week, I'm told. This is a new thing for me, so I'm gonna try to learn how to do this. The benefits are 3 major ones. One, our trash is all burned. So when you put your organic material in the trash, it doesn't go into the ground. It rather all the carbon goes straight up into the atmosphere. So that's something we'd like to avoid. The other thing is that the compost that is created does go back into the ground. So that is an opportunity then to return that organic to the ground and to the vegetable world. And the third, more self-serving, is that it reduces the weight of our trash, and we are charged by Eco-Maine for the weight of the, no.
Yes.
Yes, Eco. It's all, yeah, but Eco-Maine by the weight. So our tipping fees go down. When you put your bucket there, you just can see the change going into the, reducing your tax burden. So, think about composting.
I would just like to add to that, because there, two people did get the notification, and they were all excited and said, oh, we're going to be getting composting buckets. So I just want to make it clear, at first I was like, oh, that's great, but then I was like, no, that's not what so you have to bring your green compost, not your brown compost, your green compost to the Public Works building. Yes, sir.
To that point of the composting buckets.
Yeah.
Sean Smith, Oak Ridge Road. When the town did the lobster trap composting, they did provide a composting bucket for your counter. So I don't know if the town may consider some type of composting bucket for that program to try to encourage people more.
Yeah, that actually was funded by a grant. And so we had money to do that, and we don't have that money now. So we are asking each individual to buy their own bucket.
Okay.
Yep, good thought, though. And now we need to move the warrant.
Did Lori have any?
I'm sorry, Laura, that's it, remind me. Number 13 is to approve the October 23rd, 2025 treasurer's warrant.
So moved.
Second.
First, second, all in favor? And now the important item 14.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I'll second both of them.
We got a first and second, all in favor. Thank you, folks, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.